Good morning, everyone. I am back with part two of gaslighting. I wanted to have us explore what gaslighting is to us, how it may affect us. And also, I wanted to give you some suggestions on how to counteract gaslighting. Now, if you saw my video, and I will be looking down a lot because I took notes. And I wore a cool hat so that you guys wouldn't see how tired I feel. Um, now, if you saw my video that I did, let's name that type of abuse, and our our abuse that we're learning this week is about gaslighting. Now, just quickly, I never heard of gaslighting. I never heard of the concept of gaslighting until I started my healing journey. When I started my healing journey, I wanted to start looking into all of these different type of manipulative techniques that people may use, um, and that's how I found out about gaslighting. And I realized that I was being gaslit a lot. Anywho, moving forward. So, as we learned in my first video, gaslighting is a form of psychological manipulation where the abuser attempts to sow self doubt and confusion in their victim. Now, to break that down a little, in layman's terms, gaslighters try to make you question your own reality. They invalidate you and cause you to question not just yourself and your beliefs, but your memory and your judgment. So, what are some examples of gaslighting? Now, the examples I'm going to use today are my own personal examples, experiences that I have had throughout different relationships with different people. So, my first example is um, gaslighters may try to convince you that you said or did something that you didn't say or didn't do. So, what's an example of that? Let's say I bought this beautiful black self t shirt. Well, what an abuser would do is say, no, I bought that t shirt for you. And you'll say, no, no, you did not know I bought it. And what they'll do is they'll just get repetitive and keep trying to drill into you. Yeah, I did. You did buy that T-shirt. No, or in other words, the abuser would say, "Yeah, I did buy this T-shirt. I bought this T-shirt for you." And then you start to question your reality. Like, did you buy this T-shirt for me? So, if you feel that you're being gaslit like that, where you're questioning your reality, um, one good form to do to contradict that is to keep a record. So, with keeping a record, start writing stuff down. I'm not saying write down that you bought this t shirt, but write down when you feel that a person is trying to manipulate you into believing something about yourself that isn't true. So, another form, excuse me, another form of gaslighting is um, they might open up all of your dresser drawers. Now, let's say you went to work, you close your drawers, and if you're anything like me, you have OCD, so you like everything in its place. And then you come home and you notice that all your dresser drawers are open. Now, this is in a instance if you are living with a gaslighter. And so you ask the gaslighter, hey, did you go through my drawers? And they say, no, you did. And you're like, did I? Because I don't normally leave my drawers open. And again, that's another part of just again making a record of the forms of manipulation that this person is trying to apply on you, so that you can look up techniques of how to counteract it. One of the things that I actually got this out of Bishop R.C. Blake's book, Me, My, Mine, and he used a car for an example. But he said, let's say they take your car and they take it out of the garage and move it across the street, and then when you go looking for your car, you're like, did you move my car? And they say, no. And so what I like his response was, then just say, well, you know what, I did move it. Because then that confuses that person who was trying to get a negative reaction out of you by doing something to, again, manipulate you into believing that the whole thing is they're trying to tell you and affirm to you that you're crazy, when really they're the crazy ones. But I like that response of going with it, because then it confuses them. And now they're like, well, okay, well, that didn't work. I'm going to have to try something new. Now, again, these are different forms of gaslighting. So, another form is, they might say, yeah, I slept with five women at the same time, and man, it was so good. Well, what are they doing? They're trying to get a negative reaction out of you. You slept with what? Da 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 da. Da. They want to get a response out of you, and they're also trying to show this superiority over you, right? So, in that case, because I had that happen to me with someone, and I said, "Oh wow, really? Tell me about it." Well, they didn't want to talk about it anymore because they didn't get the response that they wanted from me, to upset me and for me to lash out at them or get mad or want to, what do you call it? Um, Payback or whatever. Um, but my response was, "Oh yeah, tell me about it," and they didn't like that. So I mean, that actually worked for me. Another form of gaslighting that they might do is they might compare you to their ex. Now, they might say, "Oh, my ex was so amazing. They cooked so much better than you," or "I never had to do this or that for my ex. They always did it for me." Well, what are they doing? They're comparing you so that they can sow self doubt, to make you become a overachiever in the relationship. Um, and one way that you can counteract this is by create a listening boundary. Now, what's a listening boundary? Sometimes, someone gets to talking and you just mute out. You don't even know what they're saying. You just like do 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 in your mind, right? Well, that's a good thing to do when someone's trying to manipulate you into listening to nonsense and foolishness. You shouldn't be taking in all of that negative um, verbiage. So how do you counteract that? Don't listen. Not paying you any attention right now. And you don't have to tell them that, because if you tell them that, then they're gonna want to gaslight you some more. But you're not paying them any attention because you don't want to absorb that negative verbiage, that negative energy. Um, my last example is, let's say you share a traumatic event with your abuser. Now, what they'll do is they'll constantly remind you of that traumatic event. Let's say, for using myself as an example, um, I invite a friend over and we're hanging out on the porch. Something bad happens out there on the porch, and then I go to my person who I'm in a relationship with and I share it with them. And so what they do is they constantly remind you that, oh well, maybe you should think about not having people on your porch. Again, it's a repetitive thing because they want to drill in, this negative image of you, this invalidation of you, to create self-doubt and confusion and low self-esteem, honestly. And the way that I handled that particular situation for me is I said, hey, why are you using me as an example to myself? Stop. And that stopped it for me. So that was the form of counteraction that I used, and that, like, hey, enough is enough, and that ended that. Um, so I know this video was a little longer than I intended, but I want to leave you with these few thoughts. My opinion of a gaslighter is they are a person who wants to exude this superiority, this superiorness over you because they're really inferior to you. And for you personally, I want you to be able to have compassion, be compassionate with yourself once you realize that this is something that you've been tolerating, or and you didn't know that that's what it was. I want you also, if the gaslighting is overwhelming in the relationship, maybe consider taking a step back. Maybe consider taking some space for just you yourself so that you can renew your mind and get back to who you were before you were in that relationship. I'm not suggesting that you break up or get divorced or whatever your scenario may be, but just taking some space to yourself to allow yourself to heal. You probably see one of my kids in the back. And then, most importantly, I stress this a lot, start your healing journey. Me starting my healing journey back in August is what has in tuned me and allowed me to be able to do all of this research so that I can start renewing my mind and being in a better place for myself. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something from this video, and thanks for watching.